A recent J.D. Power survey finds many EV owners, those electric vehicle drivers out there, are unaware of faster tire wear, which has led to lower satisfaction with their vehicle. The study finds EV and gas-powered vehicle owners have similar expectations of tire wear, despite EV tires naturally wearing faster due to the greater weight of the vehicle and higher torque. Our next guest says more education is needed on the subject to build consumer confidence in electric vehicles to push the energy transition forward. Here with more, we've got Chris Helsel, who is the Goodyear Senior Vice President of Global Operations and Chief Technology Officer. Chris, thanks so much for taking the time here with us this morning. I mean, how wide is the satisfaction range here between ICE owners who have been accustomed to a similar type of different tread and tires that have been on the market for decades now versus where we're seeing wear happen faster on some of the electric vehicles?
Yeah, Brad. Well, first off, thanks for having me. You can see up to like 50% of the same amount of wear when you think about an ICE versus an EV. And it truly is due to that added weight and added torque. And what you have to do when you're trying to deliver tires specifically for EVs is really focus on how do you still deliver that range, because everybody is really focused on that range while not compromising the wear so much. And of course, that's where we're bringing a lot of new innovation to market as well as new products.
And so we're going to talk about some of the innovation and products as well. When you think about the vehicles that even are not produced yet, but set to be on the road here too, I mean, what type of construct in those tires needs to be vastly changed in order to meet the future demand for electric vehicles?
The first thing that you always have to focus on is the thing that touches the road, and that's the tread. And you do a couple things in that tread. Number one is the actual design. Those features have a very distinct purpose, and that purpose is wear, but it also has to give you that great traction. So especially as you can put on more torque in a shorter amount of time with an EV, you have to maintain that connection with the road. And of course, that's a unique job that tires do. The other thing is the actual materials that you choose. And so the materials that we're choosing have to be better at playing that trade-off of delivering that range, the fuel economy at the same time, or in this case, again, the range, or that tread wear. Lastly, the thing that we do quite a bit is actually the shape of the tire. And something people may not think about at all is the drag from aerodynamics. And there's a lot to actually optimize with respect to the shape of the tire and how they fit with the design of the vehicle itself.
Certainly. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the materials, because when you talk about materials, of course, that's an input cost for the business, and then it gets passed on to the consumer when they're making that purchase and making sure that they've got a tire that's great for their driving experience as well and safe on the roads. How much is this anticipated to have some material impact on costs for consumers?
Well, when we think of it, maybe I could best give you an example is with our latest product we're coming out, which is our Electric Drive 2. And it actually has 50% sustainable material content, so renewable or recyclable material. And in fact, in that case, we're bringing the performance while not adding that much cost, because we're changing our sources of materials at the same time while also responding to the sustainability trend. And so you're seeing some mitigations of those by bringing that innovation to market. The other thing is if we can make the tires last longer. And in this particular case, the insight is very much spot on, the work that we've done in the replacement market and polling people who have electric vehicles with the J.D. Power. And that's that these tires are wearing faster. And so this tire actually has a 45,000 mile tread wear warranty to try to respond to that. And then lastly, it still has to deliver on attributes that are important to you, like your comfort, which in particular is noise on an electric vehicle. And we actually put a foam inside the tire in order to deaden that noise and to do some absorption of some of that that you might feel in the cabin. So there's a lot of trade-offs in tires, but I would just say this: being responded with new classes of materials, new ways to design the tire, and then hopefully bring an entire, more balanced package to the market.
Chris, just lastly, while we had you, we mentioned at the top, it's the torque, it's the heavier vehicle that impacts the wear of the tires. But what about full self-driving? What is the estimation or the research, the development that you're putting around that to know the effects of full self-driving on the wear of tires?
Well, actually, I'm pretty excited about full that driving aspect, because number one, you start having better control of the vehicle, and you could optimize the way the vehicle drives in order to optimize the tire performance. Now you might say, well, geez, how do you do that? Well, because at the same time, we're actually putting sensors through what we call our sightline technology in the tires, and we're connecting that into the autonomous driving system. And so you could actually get feedback from our sensors into that system to say, look, you should be applying torque differently because you're starting to wear the tire more in maybe one position versus the other. They could give you proactive maintenance to rotate your tires, or even tell you the real-time inflation if the tires need more air. And so all of those trends around the connectivity of the vehicle, ultimately with autonomous, also gives you, I think, a big opportunity to optimize the tires and how the tire works with the system. So if anything, I think it's going to be better for tires versus more challenging.
Goodyear Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer Chris Helsel, thank you so much for taking the time here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.